The second semi-final of the Dominic Smith Expert Electrical Senior Football Championship is Kilanerin Ballyfad against the Shelmaliers, and these two sides met 2 weeks ago in a very wet and windy Belfield and played out what was a fairly miserable effort, but the weather is set fairer for the weekend, lads, and judging by form so far, in my opinion certainly these are the two most exciting teams to watch in the championship at the moment. Enda, what's your opinion?
Yeah, most definitely. I think with the weather we're expecting the weekend, it'll be completely different to that day. Good weather, I think it's going to suit both teams. That game, I just would wipe that off the slate. I think the weather conditions, the field conditions, I know Kilanerin rested a couple that day, and I think the Shells did as well, so it wouldn't count for anything for me. Kilanerin are an exciting team. We got the brunt of them last weekend. The young manager from Wicklow there, Pádraig Murphy, first year over them there after being involved with the Wicklow Minors. He's after getting a song out of so many young players. The Hughes is there, Conor Kinsella, Sean Ford. Like, to be honest, they had scores from everywhere last weekend, and they play an open brand of football like ourselves. We could get at him. You can't get through the centre with him because they are up and down, but the speed, athleticism, youth. Look, Shelmaliers, some great forwards as well. If you look at both teams, I'm looking at the Shells against St Anne's. Didn't make for exciting football, but the forwards got on top. Good scoring ability from both sides. It's definitely a big tussle. Definitely a good game to look forward to. A very open game, I would expect.
Noel, your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you think back to 12 months ago, Castletown absolutely wiped the floor with Kilanerin, and I think they've come on an awful lot from that. Kilanerin, they're a year down the line. There's a lot of young lads there on that team. You know, the Hugheses and stuff there. Like, and Keane Hughes is the most exciting footballer that Wexford has coming, you think, at the minute, and you'd hope that he fulfills his potential in the years to come. Like, they also have, like we were saying, they don't have that much experience, like, but they have, like, you know, they've got Noel Hughes, like, them sort of lads. There is a bit of backbone to them too, but it's so exciting to watch them playing.
Well, you say the experience, they have loads of it. They were in the county final in 2018. There's plenty of lads still there from that time.
And it's now is it now the time where the youth and the experience mix together and find the perfect combination. So, like, people are saying, oh sure, the Shells will bully them and all this, like, but don't tell me you're going to bully too many Kilanerin lads, to be honest. Like, there's young lads there, like, most of the young lads are playing county. They've all played in club or with the college there in Gorey in an All-Ireland final, I think, recently as well, so they're battle hardened at this stage. They're good footballers. From the other side of it then, Shelmaliers, I mean, looked to be all, like, everybody expected them to do 2 in a row last year, like, or, you know, they were so good the year before, and Castletown outsmarted them in the final last year in Wexford Park, and you know, not that it was gone stale with John Higgett or anything like it, but a fresh voice has probably given them a new lease of life again this year, and they were gone out of hurling at the quarter-final stage against St Anne's, or semi-final stage, quarter-final, semi-final, quarter-final it was. So they've definitely got a new lease of life about them as well, and you have, like, you know, Craig McCabe in the goal. Obviously he's improving every year since he became a goalkeeper. Dooley, Owen Nolan, the two Malones, Conor Hearn, you know, fantastic football team as well, and they have probably they're battle hardened. They've won a couple of county titles there as well, but that's a big thing. Like, but
one player, Noel, that's often underestimated, and I thought he was fantastic at the weekend, was Shonky in Carrick.
Yeah,
his ability to cover ground is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's been back. Like, he didn't play in a couple of the games in the group stages of the championship, like, so he's a big player to be getting now at the right time of the year for them. Like, I seen him against St James's. What was it? A decent game when they were playing football that day, but it got very narky and stuff that day. Just shows you, like, they're so strong and physical, and they like it when it goes to that. Like, and Kilanerin probably need to stick to their own game plan, stick to their game. Don't get involved in, you know, keep playing the wide open football or trying to play, keep being attack minded and go for it, because, you know, I think that could be a high scoring game, lads. You could be looking at 2-13 to 2-12 sort of a thing, like a really high scoring game with two teams who like playing football and have very good footballers.
Well, the Shells got 4-15 at the weekend, Kilanerin got 2-16, but interestingly, and I think Kilanerin scored 1-8 after about 11 or 12 minutes, and in the remaining 48 minutes they only scored 1-8. So they did go into a shell a little bit when it came to scoring, and Bunclody did manage to tie them up at times throughout the game.
Yeah, sure. Look, they got a great start on us. I think, for all intents and purposes, probably the last 15 minutes, the game was maybe done and dusted. I just noticed a few of them, a few of the players now of the Kilanerin side went off with cramp and things like that. So the high intense game they do play, it does have its effect on it. You know, it has to bear fruit. We're playing week to week. It's going to be tiresome, and you would imagine Shells probably going to stick with them longer than we attempted at the weekend. Will they be able to last at that high octane pace the whole game is another thing. I know at the weekend there you see like the guys Connor Devitt, who came on at half time, was sick. Will he be up to pace for a full game now this weekend as well? So it's not easy. And I know I've seen Shelmaliers, they didn't take the foot off against the Ans. Ans like ourselves would be disappointed, but they kept going. I think maybe it ended up with about 19 points or something in it for a finish or high score.
19 point
so
gap,
which, like they kept it on, which is probably that little bit more experience, as you say, they have. But look, it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be high scoring, entertaining, good weather, what we want.
It would have been interesting, like if they had actually met in, say, the first round of the championship or something, and now coming back to play each other again. You know, you can't really judge anything on the last day. I mean, there's players missing, and you know, this what they say, shadow boxing that went on. Like, but you know, I think in that game the Shelmaliers did sort of, you know, probably were the team that went ahead more. Maybe I'd say, could be said. So let's see now what Kyle like, and the danger. Like, I suppose they didn't fall into the danger. You know, you ease up for one game and then you can all of a sudden get beat in a quarter final. Kilanerin didn't do that. They came back all guns blazing last weekend against Montrody, and there's a real, you know, I'm really excited about this game at the weekend.
Yeah, it looks like it's really going to have the makings of a fantastic game, and let's hope it is. The weather is set fair, as we said. I was at the Kilanerin Shells game 2 weeks ago. It was just awful conditions, as the lad said. I don't think you could predict this game on the basis that the Shelmaliers bet Kilanerin a couple of weeks ago. I think it'd be too simplistic just to say that based on the conditions. But we'll get the predictions now anyway. Enda, what way do you think it's going to go?
I'd usually be fairly decisive and go for one team or the other in these scenarios, but might have to sit on the fence on this one and call it a draw. It's tight. I would have a bit of a route. I'd go for Kilanerin. I know the manager well and would be wishing best, but probably sit on the fence on this one.
So they could be replaying on Tuesday night, do you think?
If they did, they'll fall apart. They'll be tired if they get up and down the pitch like they expected.
Or Wednesday night maybe, yeah. Noel?
They met in a couple of county final a few years ago, didn't they?
It was 2018 county final. It was a draw the first day, and then Shelmaliers beat Kilanerin 4-14 to 1-7 then in the replay. So that was Shelmaliers' first ever title.
I think I had me €1 coin on a draw on the first day of that year, and this has the opportunity for a draw again. I think if there's a game that had draw written all over it, this is the one because of the nature of it. But then I'm thinking, like, is the Shelmaliers bench going to be the decisive factor in it if it comes down to stretch? Is there extra time in this at the weekend?
There is, yeah, extra time.
Yeah. Like I'm going to go, right, so I'm going to say it's going to be a draw, and Shelmaliers are going to win in extra time. And there you go, very precise now.
Great panelist.
One player we didn't actually mention in it was Owen O'Gara. He did come on for the last 10 minutes and I know the game was well won at that stage, but he was brilliant. He got a great goal, he scored a lovely point, and he just caused an awful lot of danger for St Anne's when he went in. And to have him to come in for 10 or 15 minutes at the end of a game could be a trump card that the Shelmaliers have.
Yeah. But even if something went wrong and some fella got injured or something like that, if a player came in and got injured, or a player got injured during the game, and you can bring in Owen O'Gara in the forwards, like, I mean, there's a huge help.
Yeah, like, so I wouldn't fear though. Kilanerin, they have a bench as well there.
Yeah.
Like they're not short of numbers either, and it will be needed.
Yeah, lads that had Kilanerin lads had come in off the bench last day. Connor Devitt, I know we mentioned he was sick. He'd probably start if he's 100% sure. Niall Breen, Joe Curtis, Cathal Murphy has played plenty this year as well. There was someone else as well. I think Paddy Darcy didn't play the last day, but again, another lad. They have lads to cover throughout the field, really. Conor Hughes was another one who's got plenty of game time in the championship as well. So the benches are probably not too bad either on both sides. So we have 2 draws and a win after extra time for Noel for the Shells. And I think it's going to be really tight as well, and I hope it's really tight, because we've seen a lot of one-sided matches so far, and it doesn't make for a great viewing. Even if the football is very good, you do want it to see really close, good games. I think the Shelmaliers are just about going to prevail at the weekend by a point or two, but very, very close game, and we wish them all the very best.